making up the top 5. Alabama's I-65 around Birmingham, Delaware's Route 1, New York's I-87 Thruway, the Dan Ryan and Kennedy Expressways in Chicago, and New Jersey's Garden State Parkway, making up the top 10 most loathed roadways in America. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
Amazon won't have to pay about $273 million in back taxes after a ruling from European Union judges. The ruling finds the long-running legal battle over taxing arrangements between Amazon and Luxembourg's government. I'm Lee Silasara. This is Fox News.
Hello, everyone. This is Lawrence Sutton, Chris Morse with Free Speech News, where we are not politically correct, but we're biblically correct. And there's two things you're not supposed to discuss: politics and religion. How you doing, Chris?
Doing great, Lawrence. How are you this afternoon?
Man, I tell you what, I can't complain at all, to be honest with you. Other than the fact we just look around and see our country just burning down. I mean, I don't get it. I don't understand it.
It changes daily.
I mean, it's changing more than daily. It changes by the hour.
Well, by the hour, I can agree with you on that. It's almost like madness, you know.
Well, you know, I'm going to start off. We're going to start off hot out of the press here, and we have coming to the great state of Tennessee to an elementary school
in Memphis,
in Cordova, Tennessee. Yeah, Cordova,
which is a suburb.
Yep, and it's got Chimney Rock Elementary. We're having the Satan Club coming in
at an elementary school.
At an elementary school. Have you seen this?
Yeah.
Have you seen the advertisement on it?
Have not seen the advertisement. I just briefly saw it the other day. One of the news blurbs that conservative news blurbs we belong to, and they posted. I have not sat down and read it. I was just flabbergasted.
So I'm going to read the advertisement. This is going out to the children there in this school. And it says, After School Satan Club is coming to Tennessee. The state's first after-school Satan Club will be launched on January the 10th at Chimney Rock Elementary. Volunteers are ready to create fun and inviting places for students to learn and make new friends. If you're in the area and would like your student to join in on the fun, please complete the e-permission slip here. If you'd like to help provide needed supplies for Tennessee, First Satanic Temple Satan Club, please visit our Amazon wish list here. Support your favorite after-school program. Then it goes after the kids, and we have a little Satan here, and it says, "Hey kids, let's have fun at After School Satan Club." The Satan Temple is a non-theistic religion that views Satan as a literary figure who represents a metamorphical construct of rejecting tyranny and championing the human mind and spirit.
That is sick. A retrobate mind again.
So I'm going to tell you something. If you are saying you're not non-religious, then I'm sorry. Why in the hell did you name it Satan Club?
You know, this is, and I'm making an all call to the governor.
Yeah.
All call to state senators.
I already have.
All call to state representatives.
Yep.
This crap needs to be stopped. This is sick. You know, and we've said this for a long time, and way before you and I knew each other, Lawrence.
Yeah.
They're coming after Tennessee. We're very red in this great state, all except for the Memphis area
and Nashville,
and one other county over there by Memphis. I think it's Hardeman or Haywood or one of them.
Yeah,
and Davidson. There's
Davidson.
3 blue counties in our state.
Yes.
And they're coming after us like gangbusters. George Soros has the bullseye set on Tennessee. And we're letting these things happen. Where are our elected leaders?
That's right.
Where are people in Shelby County? Where are they? They got their head up their Bo Runkus?
I don't know where they're at, but I'm going to tell you something. I put it out there to my state senator, because our state senator,
Buffers.
Paige Wally, buffers those counties over there. And I'm just going to tell you something. I saw that when I first seen it, I thought it was a joke. I really did. But I got news for you. It's not a joke. We have this same satanic club, the Satanic Temple. They also just got through putting up, and again, here's the thing. They want to come out and say that we're non-religious. Okay, so if you're non-religious, why did you just get through putting up a statue of Baphomet in the Iowa State Capitol in Des Moines, Iowa?
In Des Moines.
Why would you do that if you are non-religious? To me, Chris, atheists, they hate all forms of religion.
Pure and simple. They do.
They do. And I'm fine with that, okay? It's your choice. They actually created a holiday for them. Do you know that? That there was a holiday created for the atheists?
No, I did not know that.
It's April 1st.
April Fool's Day.
Yeah, April 1st. And I'm just going to tell you, we had somebody do something in
Iowa. A veteran.
We had a veteran, a Christian veteran. I tell you, this is funny. Not only did he destroy,
he beheaded
it. And for people that don't know, Baphomet is another symbol for Satan, and it has a body of a man and the head of a goat.
Now, I want to think, and maybe I shouldn't spread. I'll just say I think there's a statue of this in Alabama somewhere.
They are trying to put this Satanic Temple is trying to put up so much stuff. I mean, they even have. Here's the other thing: they have sponsored a abortion clinic in New Mexico, and the abortion clinic is I'm trying to think of one of our justices, not Kavanaugh, Alito, is called Samuel Alito's Mother's Abortion Clinic. That's what they're calling it. And now again, and here again, they say that you've got to support our religious freedoms, but yet in when they put out their things to go into schools and everything else, they say we're not religious. You can't have it both ways.
Yeah, they talk out of both sides of their mouth.
You know what I mean? You can't have it both ways. And they say that abortion for them is a religious experience. And they're right. It is passing the child through Moloch is what it is. When they are killing the babies. So here's the thing, and you can go read this. Don't just take my word. You can go read it. They actually do a satanic ritual on the mother if they choose before the abortion takes place. But we're not religious.
Yeah, they do like what we would call a seance.
I don't know.
And they march around and pray.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know because I couldn't stand to read much more of it. I did not get into depth what they did because I cannot picture a mother. I mean, most mothers would give their life for their child.
Right.
Without hesitation. But yet because this child is in a womb, which is, to me, is supposed to be more safe and secure than out in this world even. And make no mistake, people, in Jeremiah, God was very, very plain. He said, I knew you before you were formed in the womb. So if you want to know when life begins, let me tell you when life begins. It's when that spark happens. It's when that egg meets the sperm. That's when life begins according to God. And hey, you can get mad at me all you want, but you're not going to argue. You're not arguing with me. You're arguing with the creator of the universe. Is who you're arguing with.
Well, it really bothers me, and like when I seen it come across when did you see it? Tuesday or Wednesday?
Yeah, I think it was Tuesday. Yes, sir.
And I thought, what? You're kidding me.
I know.
And I looked at it and I said, I'm going to have to read this later because all it's going to do is make you mad. You're going to get ticked off. But here's the thing. We, the people, run the government.
Yeah, the government don't run us.
The government doesn't run us, and people need to really, if outside the Bible, the second most important document is our Constitution.
Amen.
You better get to know it. You better understand it. There's some things going on in February where a very, very constitutional attorney in Florida is coming to Tennessee, I think on February the 24th. And we'll pump information out to you. I just got the information a while ago, and it's free, and you need to understand the Constitution front, backwards, forwards, upside down. However, you need to understand what I'm so upset about.
Well, we've stopped teaching the Constitution in schools.
That's right. We've stopped civics altogether.
Yes, we have.
And Tennessee needs to get up off of it. These legislators, representatives, there's 99, and these 33 state senators need to put civics back in the schools. It needs to start in the first grade. Don't wait to the 5th grade or 8th grade. We need to start teaching it little by little, and it needs to be an hour every day of their life from first grade on. Well, and the thing about it is, this is starting in the public school system over in Cordova, correct?
Correct. And
our governor needs to get up and just demand this be stopped. And of course, we got that left wing. We had a bad one in Penny Schwem. And now we got this other left-wing nut that he's put in as the Secretary of Education or whatever title they want to use.
Yeah.
But and she came by way of New Mexico or California. How come we're getting these people from these left coast states or these blue states to come in and be over our school system?
Because that's who Bill Lee is.
So,
you're known by your fruit. You're also known by the company that you keep.
You run with the dogs, you get fleas.
You get fleas. And I'm going to tell you something right now. I can't even picture an atheist parent that would be okay just knowing what little you may know about the religion. And make no mistake, America was founded as a Christian nation.
Right.
And make no other mistake, and I've offered everybody $100. You show me in the Constitution where it says separation of church and state, I'll give you $100. It's not there. It is a lie from the pit of hell itself. So you can keep saying that separation of church and state. It pisses me off because people do not understand their Constitution.
That's
it's
right.
Not there.
And the educators that have the warped minds, whether it be in universities and colleges or in our public school system, they were taught this in school at the university level.
Amen, they are.
And it is so sick-minded. And here's the other thing. We as taxpayers of the great state of Tennessee, University of Tennessee, is funded by us.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, they have tuition.
Yeah, I know, but we're funding our own destruction.
We're self-funding our own destruction. And, they've told them, hey, we don't want this diversity taught. I don't think they've stopped it at UT. I tell you what, you cut that spigot off and you take their money back, and legislators, you hear me loud and clear. You got to do your job.
Speaking of legislators, we got to give props to Todd Warner, who sponsors our show.
That's
Shout
right.
out to Todd Warner.
Shout out to Todd. I was with Todd last night. Had a great time.
I mean, number 3 in the entire state of legislators conservative.
How many times have we told people on Kip's show and the Lawrence County Republican Party, too many L's.
Yeah.
And on our show that we have the most conservatism right here in southern Middle Tennessee, and the Tennessee Legislative Report Card held that up.
It not only held that up, because we had Todd Warner. In the top 6, we had 3 of the top 6 of state legislators.
Clay Doggett
was number 2.
And Kip Capley.
Yeah, number 5 or number 6 for Kip.
That is great.
It
is terrific. And Kip being a freshman.
And
then we had another freshman, Jody Barrett.
Jody Barrett was up there too. He graded out as an A. And then we can't forget about Big Joey Hensley.
Oh, yeah, we're getting over into the Senate side.
Well, we're getting over to the Senate side, but, and I'll say this, I haven't really looked over the grades or anything, but, Page only got a 76. And, we need to kind of look over that and see why he might have gotten a 76 because, I think Page is a good, God-fearing man. And maybe it's because of where he's voted at before, because he used to have some of these other counties that weren't as conservative.
Right.
But I think Page is out there to look after his constituents and what his
constituents. He's got a lot of
counties
that's got what we call moderate Democrats.
That's correct.
And I hope Page understands. I think Page understands me. He understands you.
Oh, and if you don't understand me,
something's wrong.
Something's wrong. I think
you're straightforward.
I don't think of anybody that's more straightforward than me, actually.
And I've seen some change that was made in Page. Well, and positive.
Well, and I will say this, I've been talking to Page about a couple of different things that are coming up for next year. And, let's just hope he gets behind and at least look at what his constituents want more than maybe what he might want. And I'm not saying that even about him because we have not had in-depth conversations on these things. But I will say this.
You just sort of brushed them with him.
I've just discussed it with him. Mm-hmm. And I just don't know Page like I do Joey or Kip or Clay. I just don't know him that well.
And the reason for it was redistricting.
We had redistricting last year.
Y'all had Joy. Yep. Lawrence County had Joy for years.
Oh,
and then redistricting. Joey.
Joey's my doctor. Joey's house and his practice is about probably 10 to 12 miles from my house. So, if somebody needs a good doctor, I'm going to tell you something. One of the few doctors in this Middle Tennessee area, by the way, that would prescribe ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine for his people during COVID.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you something. I don't care what you think or what you say, but what we're starting to see that was the correct protocol.
That's absolutely correct. And, I'm like this. Yeah, hey, we call a spade a spade. We always do, Lawrence.
Yeah.
Fauci needs to be brought up on treason charges.
You mean
well.
Fauci? It's Fauci.
Yeah, Fauci. I know, but such an idiot, and he killed thousands of Americans
or more.
Pure and simple.
I'm going to say I don't think the man's an idiot. I think the man is evil.
He's evil,
and I don't think you can be that stupid on accident. It's like the Biden administration. I do not believe that these people, what they have done to this country, that you can be this stupid on accident. You're doing this on purpose because you hate this country. And I'm amazed at all of the bureaucrats, legislators that we have that do not want to follow the Constitution. And I got news for you. If you do not follow the Constitution of the land, you are a traitor.
That's right.
You're pure and simple. What do you think? What do you think that our founding fathers would have done if Satan Club wanted to come into a school?
They would have shut that down immediately.
Do you know?
It would have never happened. Once they got wind of it, they'd have been on it like Flynn.
I'm going to tell you something. And thank God we had this one gentleman in Iowa that stood up, destroyed that display, a veteran, destroyed the display. And I tell you what, I think it's funny. I'm just going to tell you, I think it's funny. I've seen the pictures.
Where he stood there?
Well, no, where he cut off the head of the statue.
Well, you know, he went to
jail, by the way.
He went to jail,
Yeah.
and he said, I did it. I proudly did it.
That's right, and I'll do it again.
I'll do it again. So, you know, there's a hero.
Yes.
There is a hero. And, you know, we've said this thousands of times. Not that many. I'm exaggerating, but it's been said
bet you hundreds.
numerous times on this show. All your problems start right there in the church house.
Yeah, it starts in the church house, and it also starts with the person that is looking back at you in the mirror.
That's right.
I mean, and I'm guilty. You know, I know you for a fact you've been fighting this probably 20 years or longer. You've done a lot over there in your county. You wiped out the sex traffic industry over there.
Yeah, with the adult entertainment, and it all started in 98, 99.
Yeah, so we're talking 25 years now.
We were just getting inundated with I-65 of anything from a strip club, a cabaret, to a massage parlor, to adult bookstores, and even one of them had a movie theater in it showing dirty movies. It was just terrible. I personally went in them, you know. And, hey, you're in violation of the law. Yeah. You can't do this. You know, and people always think that they can do whatever they want to. But there's laws on the books that we've got a tool in the toolbox. Just like that hammer does not do you one bit of good just sitting in a toolbox collecting dust unless you actually use it. Same with the screwdriver. So we've got laws on the books that help protect us, but we don't enforce it because we're afraid we're going to make somebody mad. That's what it all boils down to. And it's money. It's money. When you get back to everything, it's money. See, a lot of people don't understand in the great state of Tennessee, folks who have the Adult-Oriented Establishment Act, you cannot serve any type of alcoholic beverage, and it breaks it down to malt beverage. What's a malt beverage, Lawrence?
It's alcohol.
It's beer.
Yeah.
It's a beer. They can't even serve beer. So we continued letting one go by for several years until the idiots put up a sign out there that you didn't want your children to see. And I personally tore the sign down myself if it didn't get taken down, and it finally got shut down.
Well, you know, I'm going to tell you something. It all boils down is they're coming for our children.
That's right.
And all you got to do is go back and you look at Germany. You know, it's kind of funny. I love how the Democrats are saying, "Oh, you Republicans, you're all fascists and everything else." But if you ever want to watch how people really behave, they try to throw off on their enemies what they're doing.
Yeah.
And that's exactly
like a deterrence,
right? And you know what? And it's worked for a lot of people. Me, I laugh at it. You know, if you call me a communist or something, I'm going to sit there and look at you and laugh. And I go, well, why don't you give me the definition of a communist, big boy? And you know what? They can't. They cannot explain to you what a communist is. They can't explain to you the difference between a communist or a socialist even, but yet this is the agenda that they're pushing. And they have no idea what they're pushing, because they don't educate themselves.
Yeah, they're not leaders, they're followers.
Well,
and they follow people that I don't understand. False doctrines, false teachings. You know, I want to study this, and I'm going to read it in my own time about this satanic club coming to Tennessee. And folks, it's listening to us. You need to read it for yourself. Get your same understanding. You need to burn your representative's phone up and your state senator.
You absolutely do. And Bill Lee, too, because let's face it, this is on his watch. And now I will say this. I've been talking with different people that I know that are involved in school systems. and I don't want to give their names because they didn't give me permission to do it. But I've talked to numerous people that are involved in school systems, different counties, not just this county. And to a one, every one of them told me that it wasn't our state that did it, it was the local school board that allowed this to happen. So it's not coming in through the state, even though it's on the state's watch. But it's these local school boards. People, if you don't think elections have consequences, I can't think of a worse consequence than that right there, that you're going to allow the Satanic Temple to come in and do an after-school care program for your child.
Elementary children.
Yes.
You know, this is no different than being over there in Gaza and what those Hamas start training their children at 5 years old to be murderers. This is no different.
You know, it's
evil.
It is flat out evil. And I tell you, I keep going back to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 11. And for this case, God shall send them a strong delusion that they should believe a lie. But I'm going to tell you something. If you read the second chapter of 2 Thessalonians, it's describing what our world is like today. I mean, almost to a T. And in Romans chapter 1, and it'll start verse 16 through 32. If you want to see, and most people don't think of these books and these chapters and verses as prophetic. But when you see what's happening in our world today and you go and you read what is written there, you know, over 2,000 years ago, it's going to make sense that these are prophetic things that are being talked about.
Well, when you actually read the Bible and get a good understanding, you know, God laid out the roadmap. And here again goes back to the people in the pulpit teaching the gospel. They've kind of picked and chose the softer side of the gospel rather than preaching the true meaning of the entire Bible.
Right.
They tiptoe through the tulips.
Well,
they don't want to hurt nobody's feelings.
Right.
They sure don't want to run off that guy that's putting $200 a week in the collection plate. They'd rather sell their soul to the devil than to preach the gospel.
What did Jesus say? What does it gain a man but to gain the whole world, only to lose his soul?
That's right.
And I'm going to tell you another thing. These people, and it coming down to the Satan Club, and I'm even going to tell you, even the people that allow these things to happen, these people that come in, and we have Drag Queen Story Hour, and these people that allow it to happen, and I'm going to go here. I'm going to go here. Even the parents that allow their children to participate in this,
they're sick.
There's a warning that Jesus gave, and Jesus said this in Matthew. He goes, "If you harm my little ones, it's best for you to tie a millstone around your neck and jump into the ocean." So when I see these people like this that are of a reprobate mind, they're gone. They're gone. I mean, only God can bring them back if he even wants to bring them back. But I'm going to tell you something. I call them the Millstone Society. Got that from Brandon Taylor. Mm-hmm. You know, that's a Brandon Taylor saying.
Y'all may not know, and you may know, I mean, in Giles County, we were having at our county-owned agri park down by the co-op, if you know where that's at on 31 South, for 2 years, the homosexuals or the gay pride, whatever they want to paint themselves.
They're either homosexual, they're sodomite.
They're reprobate mind.
Gay means happy.
Right.
It also means to be full of joy. Okay? I was looking at a 1958 dictionary that I have. And the first thing on the word gay, it says to be happy. The second definition is to be joyful. The third definition was a deviant sexual act. That's what it said in the dictionary in 1958.
Okay. But to go back to this, these people there were no rules at our agri park. And thank God we elected some good county commissioners that helped form rules, and thank you very much. And a great county executive that worked due diligently to stop this. And there's pictures from down there in our county-owned building of these men dressed as women, showing the part of their buttocks and like they got bosoms, and these kids like being in a cabaret putting dollar bills in a man's bosom. There were parents, and there should be, and Brent Cooper, I hope you're listening to me, there should be some laws. That's a form of, that little child, 5-year-old child, 7-year-old child, don't know any better. But
Millstone Society.
It's a Millstone Society, but there should be some laws that these parents are unfit. So, they're unfit parents. I don't care how you look at it, and I don't care if I got any friends, you're not my friend.
Well,
that were participating in that,
yeah.
You got a sick mind.
Well, and I'm going to tell you something, but this is how much I believe in freedom. If a parent's doing that, then if I try to stop that from that parent doing that, then what is to keep them to stop us from taking our children to church? So, I mean, it's a slippery slope we live in. I will say this. Our Constitution was written for a Christian nation, and it was to be upheld by Christians for the non-Christians. You know what I mean by that?
I know where you're going. Yeah.
Okay, so if everybody in this was a Christian, and you know, there's going to be people out there, well, you know, this guy said that he's a Christian and he got a DUI, or he cheated on his wife, or whatever you want to say. Guess what? We're all human. And Jesus warned us about that. Jesus said, don't take the speck out of your brother's eye when you have a log in yours. Mm-hmm. And that was part of when Jesus said, pick up your cross and follow me. Well, where do you think that cross came from? Where did it start coming from? It came from that log in your eye. And that means to pick up that cross, get rid of your haughtiness and everything else. So, you know, I hope I don't come across as being preachy and haughty. I'm trying to say this to warn people that judgment is coming. I don't know when it's coming. And for some of us, it can be tomorrow. It could be this evening, or it could be 50 years from now, or when the Lord comes back. But make no mistake, judgment's coming, Chris, to all of us. And I just want to warn people.
Right.
You know,
I want to move on to something else that I think is important. We got an presidential election cycle coming up in 24.
Yep.
And what have we done to fix 2020?
Not a damn thing.
Okay. True. So we're this late in the stage of the game.
Yep.
For the new presidential election.
Yep.
And, you know, Donald Trump's the front runner, whether you like it or not. And, you know, I'm not crazy about everything Donald Trump does, but I can say this. He did everything he said he was going to do within his powers until he was stopped by Congress.
Right.
You know, what's so sad about that? In 2016, folks, let's rewind and go back to when he got elected. We had the presidency, we had the Senate and the House, but we sure didn't act like it.
Doesn't it seem kind of like how we are in Tennessee here? We got supermajority in the House and Senate.
That's right.
And
we don't even have to have a Democrat show up.
No.
And we can
quote,
still
unquote,
conduct business in both the House and both the Senate.
You know, and a quote-unquote Republican governor. But you know, it's kind of funny. All these things that I see Bill Lee championing, I shouldn't say all of them, most of the things I see Bill Lee championing are coming right out of the Democratic playbook. They're not coming out of the Republican playbook.
Not at all. That's right.
So I like to know where Bill Lee's loyalties lie. And you know what? Here's the thing, Chris. I could care less if they lie to the Republican Party. And I mean, I hate saying this, but I could care less about the Republican Party. What I care about the most is Jesus Christ and what he tells us in the Bible. Second thing I believe in is my Constitution. Third is being a conservative, being a conservative person by nature. And then Republican will wind up being somewhere fourth or so
or fifth.
On that list.
It's fifth down the rung on the ladder.
Only thing I know is it is way lower than what my beliefs and my thoughts are. The thing is, Chris, is the Republican Party, if you look at the platform of the Republican Party, it actually aligns with Judeo-Christian values, where the Democratic Party and their platform does not.
Don't align with anything.
The problem is, and you know this, being high up in the Republican Party here in the state of Tennessee as you are, is that we have Republicans that either A, have never read the Republican Party platform, or B, they don't care. And they're following the Democratic platform.
Mm-hmm. Well, I wanted to get into this and touch on it, and I want to touch on something else about the Republican Party in our state.
Yeah,
alone.
Let's get in it.
Rasmussen, the Poe.
Yep.
And I don't always say that perfect. I'll admit it on the front end. But there's three big bullet points. They did a survey of 1,085 national voters.
Here recently, by the way.
Just recently. And
Yes.
I don't know how many come from what state. But during the 2020 election, they asked three questions. Did you cast a mail-in ballot in a state where you were no longer a permanent resident? You know what the percentage was? It said yes out of this 1,085?
Yes, 17%.
17%.
Yeah, I've read the article.
So let's say our elections were stolen.
Hey, listen, I'm going to tell you something.
There's not integrity. Let's put it that way.
There is not. And for people to say this was the most secure election in history, you are a liar. Period. Simple.
But move along. During the 2020 election, the next question was, did a friend, family member, or organization, such as a political party, okay, Democrat or Republican, offer to pay or reward you for voting? And this is astonishing. 8% said yes. And did you know a friend or a family member or a coworker or an acquaintance who has admitted to you that he or she filled out a ballot on behalf of another person? And guess what? 11% said yes.
So I will say this.
Was that enough to change
the election?
The election, you better believe it.
Absolutely it was, but I'm going to say this, though, and I'm glad they did it this way. They're not singling out the Democratic Party on this. It actually says both parties, okay? And so, and I point this out to say this, Chris, for people that are listening that might be of the Democratic persuasion. They're not trying to pick on the Democrats. They're not even trying to say that the election was stolen. They're just giving you the facts.
Yeah, they're just these are pure facts.
These are the facts that they found out. And I look at it like this. I came from Florida. And I really view what happened in Florida back in 2000 as the reason that we have all the mess that we have now, because we have the hanging chads. When people used to go to the ballot on the day of election, okay, hear me, folks, on the day of the election, we went to vote and we filled out a paper ballot. We need to go back to that system, because I'm going to tell you, we can't trust any of this other system. I'll look at Dominion and all these other ones, and I'll just say this even. whether they're crooked or not, just the simple aspect that you can get on the internet and another country can go in and maybe mess and with those tabulation and those results is enough for me to say,
hang on a minute.
Let's do it by paper ballot, and let's have an accountability here. I don't care if it's Russia. I don't care if it's China. I don't care who you say it is that did it. I don't care who you said it that helped or it hurt. But you know what? When Donald Trump won in 2016, that's all we heard from Hillary Clinton and the Democratic Party was the election was stolen.
So
okay?
when it comes around to 2020,
I don't see Hillary Clinton or any of these other people being prosecuted like Donald Trump is for saying that the election was stolen. And make no mistake, that's why they're prosecuting the man, is because he did not agree with the results.
And she didn't either.
And she didn't either. But nothing has been done. I tell you, and you know, me and you talk about this all the time. I'm not a Trumper. I will probably have to wind up voting for Trump. But in 2016, I voted for Ted Cruz. I mean, I'll tell you who I voted for. And I'm going to tell you right now, when it comes down to the primary vote, unless things change either way, I will probably wind up voting for Vivek Ramaswamy. So I want everybody to know this. When I'm sitting here, if you're thinking I'm defending Trump, I'm wanting you to open up your eyes and see what is happening to our country and how we are having our country stolen from us.
Taken away from us like a thief in the night.
Yes. And Ronald Reagan warned us about this. He said, you're one generation from losing what was set up for you. And we were set up as a Christian nation to rule over the non-Christians with the laws. And up until the last 40, 50 years, it worked.
Well, we're also guilty of sitting back on our do-nothings and letting the federal government run everything.
Yes.
There again, we the people, the states, and hear me out, folks, the states are in charge, all 50 of them, of the federal government. The federal government doesn't run the state. The states run the federal government.
That's
but
right.
We've let them ramrod and run over us, and these executive orders, whether it was through Joe Biden, Donald Trump, you go back and look at even back to Ronald Reagan and Clinton and look at how many executive orders have been done. Barack Obama became the master of disaster on executive orders, and it just has blossomed from there. He threw the fertilizer on it and made it grow.
So we discussed this, and we went over this a little bit on Wednesday, Chris. And I'm just going to keep going on this. But we have a great American patriot up in northern Tennessee called Dave Vance.
Right, Northwestern.
And Dave has been championing this 10th Amendment and the nullification.
He's actually in Dover, Tennessee.
And I'm going to tell you something about this. We had, when our government, when Joe Biden was going and making all these edicts and saying people had to take the vaccines and everything else, we had a joint resolution 9005, October 20 of 21, where we had all but 3 of the GOP in the House vote for this, and 22 senators voted for this to say that the 10th Amendment nullifies any edict or anything that our government was going to use for mandate as executive orders or anything else. Okay, they put out a joint resolution. I'm going to tell you something. They've already done the hard work. Get off your butts. Hear me. Get off your butts and get us a law passed that gives this resolution some teeth.
Nullification.
Of nullification, and understand what the 10th Amendment is, and it only gave 18 remunerated powers that the federal government would dictate to the states, and only 18. That's why we got Roe versus Wade reversed.
That's exactly right. That is a state right. That's not the federal government's right to do that.
That's correct.
And it got overturned.
So I keep having people tell me, "Oh, this is going to be hard. This is going to be hard to do. This is bad going against the federal government." No, it's not. That's how the Constitution was set up. What is bad is we have allowed the federal government to do.
We've let it happen.
That's what's bad. So I'm going to tell you something. I will tell you right now, any legislator that will go against bringing the state of Tennessee and having the state of Tennessee decide how the state of Tennessee is ran, I look at you as a traitor to not only the country, but to this state. Because you, my friend, have gone against the Constitution, and I will put my shoulder against you. Period. End of story. We are not putting up with this. This right here is, I mean, Chris, I'm steam I know's coming off of me.
I feel the heat.
Okay, but I'm tired of hearing this, especially when we have a government that is evil. Period. End of story. I don't care. They're evil.
On a federal level.
On a federal level. I would like to go into this, Chris, while we got time. And I have something else. I guess it's going to have to wait till next week. But I want to talk about the National Defense Authorization Act that was just voted on. And how terrible of a bill that was, and how disappointing I am that we had some legislators here in Tennessee that voted for it even.
3 out of 8 Republicans, correct.
And I mean, it breaks my heart. And they'll come in, and I get what they're saying, okay? I understand what they're saying when they say, well, we have to have these, we have to pass the whole thing, and there's some good stuff that's in here that we have to pass, but we have to pass this crap that's been thrown in instead.
The fluff.
Hey, we need to have line item. We used to hear
totally agree.
We used to have
line item budget.
Line item budget, line item veto. But let's take it a step further. Everything that we do, and I tell you what, it would probably keep these stupid legislators from creating more laws that they are not enforcing anyway. Maybe they wouldn't write so many of these stupid laws that don't matter. Mm-hmm. And maybe we can actually get something done with our federal budget when we do each thing and it gets voted on, each one separately, instead of, hey, listen, I had a friend of mine tell me this one time. If you have a bowl of raisins and in that bowl of raisins, you put rabbit poop in there, do you know what you have in that bowl of raisins? You have poop. Okay? That's the same thing that our government, Republican, Democrat, both, they do this, and they do it on purpose, is they put things that have to be in there, and then they take and put stuff that is crap.
Well, let's give people an example.
Okay, yes.
One of the things in there that you or I both would be in favor of. Mm-hmm. It was going to be a little over 5% increase in pay to our military.
Amen.
And I'm 100% for that.
Amen.
But they stuck that in there, but on over here, they stuck $600 billion to Ukraine again. I'm totally against. Stop the funding to Ukraine, because that idiot over there bought himself a $74 million yacht, brand new yacht, probably with United States money.
Probably.
Yeah.
It was with United States money.
So why in the hell do we keep giving them money? I don't care how many times that piece of crap comes over to our country and begs for more money. Cut it off. We need that southern border wall built. We need to take care of our homeless veterans. We got a lot of needs right here in this country, and we're not doing a damn thing about it.
No, we're not. And I'm going to tell you the other thing, too. If you sit there and take the narrative, and again, go look this up, take the narrative that they're sitting there saying, well, they're fighting for their freedom. They're a democracy over there in Ukraine. That is a load of horse crap. Do you know that they have suspended their elections? Let me tell you what else they've done. You had 14 different parties over in Ukraine. They suspended all of the parties over there that can run except for Zelensky's party. Have you seen what they have done to churches over there that disagree with them? Have you seen what they have done to these churches, Chris? Do you think this is democracy over there you're protecting?
Communism.
It is absolutely communism.
100% communism. And we keep funding it. And Joe Biden, you're as guilty as sin, and everybody who voted for this, you have some guilt. And I know that, get back to the 3 in Tennessee, I'm not surprised out of our 8 Republicans, we had 3 that voted for it. I'm surprised in one, the other 2 I'm not, because they're trans Republicans. They're not even Republicans.
No.
In my eyes, and I don't care if they want to call us, pick up the phone and call, big boys.
That's right.
That's just the way I look at it. I am shocked in one, and I do understand some things there, but you cannot let the bad outweigh the good. You need to break it out and line item. And I don't know when in the hell Congress is going to learn that. I'm sick and tired of them putting 1,100-page bills, 1,500-page bills, over 2,000-page bills together, and they got all this pork in there they slide in, and they make us as Republicans feel guilty when these Democrats know exactly what they're doing, and they're self-destructing America. Pure and simple.
Well, and you know what? I can't just sit there and say Democrats because Republicans are voting for this crap.
Right, I'm saying that, but the Democrats are the lead dog.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
okay?
Absolutely.
They're the lead dog. Now, I know this, like we say, fastest hour in radio.
I know.
Shout out to Todd Warner.
Thank you,
Man,
Todd.
You're doing a great job. Shout out to Clay Doggett. Shout out to Kip Capley. But we did stop. I want to give a shout out to Janice Bowling.
Yep.
She was #1 senator.
#1, yes.
And Mark Pody.
Yep.
And Joey, they were all up there in the top 5. Shout out to them. They're great people. If you don't know them, you need to get to know them. But there's been a little misnomer out there. There's a lawsuit filed. I think it's from some of them nuts over in East Tennessee. Folks don't understand what a bona fide Republican and what it's all about. And it only does with your local parties. For you to hold an office in your local party, you've got, or to participate in what we call our reorganization of our county party.
Correct.
In Lawrence County, you've got to be a bona fide Republican. And all that means is you should have voted 3 out of the last 4, whether it be presidential or statewide primaries. You should have casted 3 votes for the R. And if you haven't, you're not bona fide.
Yep.
It has nothing to do with somebody who's trying to become a Republican and never voted Republican, and they say, hey, I've had enough of Biden. I've had enough of these stupid Democrats.
Don't want to ride with Biden.
I don't want to ride with Biden or Kamala, laughing hyena.
Yeah.
I see the light. I see the light. And I want to start voting Republican. We welcome you. We want you. We need you. America needs you.
That's right.
And everybody needs you. So please come over. It's nothing that you've got to vote out three. You got to be 3 out of 4 to vote for Republican.
It's if you're going to hold
this news
state
media
office.
over there and this journalist is not a journalist. They're an idiot.
They're liars.
And they're liars. And I had to prove that. You know, you and I had a discussion, and our dear friend over in West Tennessee.
Right.
Well, listen, like I said, send us off. We've had a great week. Look forward to talking to everybody on Monday. God bless you.
God bless you. God bless the state of Tennessee. God bless Lawrence County. Have a good day and good weekend. I will see everybody on Monday.
Is the rich